In this video, I'm going to show you how much you need to save per day and per month in order to become a millionaire. And I don't mean a millionaire like look at me, how rich I am. I mean a millionaire because that's a very comfortable amount of money that you can actually retire off. And if you follow dividend growth investing like I do, you can assume a 4% dividend yield that will give you around $40,000 per month. Or if you want to be a little bit more conservative, $30,000 per month at around a 3% dividend yield. So yeah, $1 million is very nice. It's a really nice pile of money that you can retire on, or at least have really strong financial security. The problem with most people though, is that they don't start investing early enough. And then what normally happens is that they get to their 40s or their 50s and they realize, damn, I've not saved, I've not invested. And then they start, really putting they're back into it, really saving and investing aggressively, and then oftentimes it's just simply not enough. So what I want to show you now is how much you need to save per month and per day based on how early you start investing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my computer and search for a very simple compound interest calculator. Okay, so this is how it's going to work because I want to make this comparable between all the ages, okay? What I'm going to assume is that the person that we're going to be looking at starts from zero, okay? This is when they start investing. So at first it's gonna be a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old, etc. They start with nothing. They just woken up one day and said, oh, I should probably start investing, which is what happens to a lot of people. Then I'm also going to assume that your investments are going to grow at 8% per year, which is actually what the S&P 500 has done. If you don't know what that is, it's a collection of the 500 best companies in the United States of America, put inside this big pile of companies called a fund. And you can actually invest in an index fund very easily. It's actually one of the easiest ways that people can get started investing. I've made videos about this in the past, so click here and I'll link to a relevant video. But yeah, the S&P 500 on average has actually returned around 8% per year from 1957 to 2018. And if we actually go further back, the rate of return is even better. But what I'm gonna do is stick to that 8% just to make this example more relatable, because that seems to be what the stock market does in most countries. And then finally, we're going to set a target of having $1 million by the age of 65, which is normally retirement age in a lot of countries. Now, the cool thing about having $1 million by the age of 65 is that before you get to that point, that's going to open up a lot of opportunities. So you could realistically retire early, perhaps retire in your 50s, maybe even your 40s, okay? Having that amount of money invested, providing you passive income through dividends, that's going to open up so many possibilities. If you want to learn more about financial independence and how to retire early using dividend growth investing, which is what I personally do. I made a video about this last week. You can find it here. I put a lot of effort into that video, so if you enjoy it, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to also subscribe to my channel because I release videos like this every single week. I've not missed a single week for a few months now. But yeah, those are the rules of the game. Let's get started with someone that starts investing at the age of 20. So here is the calculator. Like I said, starting amount is 0 and the years to save from the age of 20 to the age of 65 is 45 years. So we're going to put 45 years there, and then we're basically going to increase the additional contributions per month until we get that cool $1 million. And it seems to be around $190 saved per month at the age of 20, assuming that 8%, also assuming that this compounds monthly, which is how often you will be investing that money, okay? These are all assumptions. Feel free to go and do this yourself. But yeah, guys, $190 per month saved at the age of 20 every single month until the age of 65 should give you $1 million, assuming these things are correct. So this actually equates to saving $6 per day. $6 per day, guys. It is not a lot of money. That's how much a coffee or some cheap lunch costs you when you eat outside. It simply is not a lot of money. And yeah, okay, granted, when you're 20, you're not going to be able to save that much money. You're probably still in education, but this is how little you can get away with investing per day and still amass that and grow that to a really important number by the time you're 65 years old. Let's now fast forward 5 years to someone that's 25 years old. This is a great spot to start investing And this is also roughly when I personally started taking investing seriously. I was 26 years old. But the cool thing about being a 25-year-old is that it's very likely that you are out of education. It's likely that you've already got a job, so you can start saving some money. And let me show you what it actually takes to get to $1 million at the age of 65, being 25 years old, all right? We're gonna change this number to 40, okay? Because 65 minus 40 is 25. And then you can see that you cannot get away with saving the same as a 20-year-old, okay? So let's change this slider until we get to roughly 1 million. And I think it's actually $285. Yes, it's more or less $285 per month, which equates to $9 per day. Again, not a lot of money, but you can already see the difference that 5 years makes. Also, remember that this assumes that you don't save any more as the years go by. Realistically, that is what you would do. You would earn more money as time goes by, in theory, and you will be able to earn and save more money. So $9, that is all it takes for a 25-year-old. Now let's fast forward 5 more years. Let's say you are a 30-year-old person, so we'll put that to 35 years, and let's see how much we have to save. Let's try and get close. I've done a bit of pre-research about this, and I think it's around $435 per month. It's roughly $1 million after 35 years. So $435 a month divided by the number of days in the average month comes up to $14 per day. You know, it starts increasing, but it's still doable. It's only $400 per month that you have to save to get to that really nice position by the time you're thinking about retirement. Okay, let's now speed things up. I'm not gonna make you sit and watch every single time I do this because I've actually done the research previously. So I'm just going to list out the ages and how much you need to have saved, and you'll be able to see it a lot clearer. So if you start investing with no savings at all at the age of 35, you're going to have to save $667 per month, which is $22 per day. So if you're 40 years old and you're only just starting to invest and save, because this assumes that you start with nothing, then you're going to have to invest $1,045 per month, or $34 per day. You can already notice that the amount that you have to save, the closest you get to that goal of 65 years old with $1 million is starting to ramp up. Now at the age of 45, it jumps quite dramatically again. You're gonna have to save almost $1,700 per month, and give that enough time to grow to $1 million. That equates to $55 per day. Then a 50-year-old person that just woken up and realized, my God, I'm gonna retire in a few years. I'm going to start saving and investing now. It's gonna have to save $2,900 per month, which is almost $100 per day to save and invest. That is quite a large amount for most people to be able to save and invest, but it's still doable at the age of 50. Now, if we fast forward to the age of 60 and you want to retire in 5 years with 0 savings and 0 investments, this is how much you're gonna have to save every month. $13,500 or $442 per day. That is an insane amount, because if you're starting to invest that late on, you're not going to have compound interest on your side. The vast amount of that million is going to come purely from your savings. Whereas if you're a 20-year-old that's starting from nothing but has got time on their side, just $6 a day is going to do it. You're only going to save a small amount of money over time, but compounding is really going to have a really strong effect, and most of that 1 million, if you start at the age of 20, is going to be compound interest. Now, needless to say, if you're older than 60 and you want to start saving for retirement, it's not really going to happen. You don't have enough time to be able to save that much money unless you earn bucket loads of money, okay? It's not really going to happen for most people. But what I want to do now as a little bonus, because I was actually speaking to my nephew who's 10 years old, actually 11 years old, and he wanted to learn about investing and compound interest. And I told him, start as early as possible. And this is why, okay? I've saved this till the end because this is more of a bonus. Like, oh wow, if I was 15 years old, I could save this little and still get to $1 million by age of 65. But yeah, if you were 15 years old and you were starting to save and invest, you could save $4 a day starting at the age of 15, starting with nothing, and by the age of 65, you should have around $1 million. Also, finally, for a 10-year-old with just $2.75, okay, less than $3 per day, That is all a 10-year-old would need if they started at 10 years old. Obviously, a 10-year-old is not really going to have an easy time finding $3 per day, because that's around $80 per month, okay? This is probably gonna have to come from their parents, but that's probably what I'm gonna do with my kids. Gonna, give them an allowance and teach them how to invest. And then by the time they're older, they're really gonna see compound interest having such a massive effect. Now, obviously, this was a very simplified, very simplistic way to look at this, okay? I've not taken inflation into account at all. So realistically, if you invested in an index fund that gave you an 8% per year, you have to subtract the yearly inflation from that, which is around 2%, 3%, depending on the year, okay? So these results wouldn't be that accurate. However, on the other hand, you would be able to save more as time went by. You would have higher paid jobs. You'd be able to save more money. So that's why I feel like those two factors kind of compensate for each other, okay? But it's also realistic that you'll be able to earn a higher return than the S&P 500. That is what I personally do with dividend growth investing. I buy stocks when they are beaten down, and I get better returns than the S&P 500. At least I have for the last few years in a row. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I just wanted to show you how realistic it is to actually be able to retire properly and not have to rely on a government or a pension to pay for your expenses, to pay for your food, to feed yourself when you are older, right? All it really takes is just a few bucks per day if you start early enough, or if you're starting a bit later, a few more bucks, but you'll still get to that point if you are diligent, if you're frugal, and if you stick with it, okay? And if you are patient with the stock market. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I make content about dividend growth investing and personal finance, sometimes a little bit about entrepreneurship as well. Also, be sure to share this video with someone that would find it helpful. Perhaps someone that's not started investing yet, and you want to really show them that the sooner they start to invest, the easier it's going to be in the long run. That is it from me for now, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care.